Elon Musk has made the most money. He's the richest person in the world.
Right.
But then there was this other very interesting fact that he holds the record for losing the most money ever. Could you lose $1 billion?
But if you can't, then you can't make $1 billion. I think the amount of money you're willing to lose is the amount of money you're willing to make. I don't think people can deal with that part of success.
When I realized that I was actually wealthy was when I realized I had lost millions of dollars. Like
Right.
I've had $1 million in cash, and then 8 months later I owe $1 million and don't have any of the cash. Like literally, that's when I realized, like, okay, this is what it is, and that's why I'm wealthy, because it's not necessarily about how much money you have. It's about the skills that you learn along the way that you can get it. I have people come into my coaching program, and they'll tell me they want $1 million.
Right.
Okay. And you say you want $1 million. I can figure out how you could get 10 lines of credit for $100,000 each and get you $1 million through 10 different lenders.
Right.
And now you got $1 million cash, and you can go and build the business that you want. And as soon as you put that in front of them, they're afraid to sign their name.
Right.
Why? Because they're afraid to lose. So how are you ever going to win if you're not afraid to lose?
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, or you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
Stop. You are watching a very important conversation on our podcast, but let me tell you about another very important cause: children's illiteracy. The 𝗚 Foundation is my nonprofit organization, and this episode is sponsored by the 𝗚 Foundation. We are committed to combating children's illiteracy because a child that cannot read by the 3rd grade is 3 times more likely not to graduate from high school and 10 times more likely to go to prison. We have got to start doing our part and start fighting children's illiteracy and get our kids reading. Please donate at 𝗚 and you can get this free t-shirt just to show your support and help us fight children's illiteracy. It is so important. This is a serious conversation, so let's get back to it.
Okay, so there was an article that recently came out that talked about how Elon Musk has made the most money. He's the richest person in the world.
Right.
But then there was this other very interesting fact that was attached to it, that he holds the record for losing the most money ever.
Right.
No one has lost more money than Elon Musk.
Right.
And so it's kind of that weird dichotomy. Let's talk about that. Like, could you lose $1 billion?
But if you can't, then you can't make $1 billion.
That's a good point.
The thing about it, even if you looked at it was a time when Brett Favre had the most touchdown passes in the
league.
In the league.
Yeah, in the NFL.
In the NFL
Yeah.
of all time. He
Yeah.
also had the most interceptions at the same time.
Yeah, but at the same time, is Brett Favre the greatest quarterback in the NFL of all time? No.
But to have the most
So
and that's
he
not
had the
saying,
most interceptions,
but
and
he had the
also
most touchdowns.
passes.
But to get the most
But
touchdowns,
Michael Jordan didn't have the most missed shots.
But-
he has lots of missed shots, but he doesn't have the most. So
Right.
it's like, isn't that crazy though? The person that has made the most money has lost the most money.
he has a lot of missed shots, and he has I think the person that I think the amount of money you're willing to lose is the amount of money you're willing to make. You have to have that mentality. The amount of pain you can endure is the amount of pleasure that you can have. I don't think people can deal with that part of success.
Yeah, that it has so many losses
You
to
have
it.
so many losses.
Yeah.
You think of the best batting averages in baseball. They're like 371.
Yeah.
That means that's out of 1,000.
Right.
So that's like 60-some% of the time they do not hit the ball.
Yeah.
And people don't count that. That is a part that losing is so much a part of winning that it's incredible. How much, if you don't think of the dollar amount that he lost with the $1 billion that he lost.
Yeah.
Think of the amount of lessons he learned.
Yeah.
So you have the education of losing $1 billion, what comes along with that. You know
point.
1 billion times what not to do.
Yeah.
That automatically
that
puts
doesn't
you.
make it easy. So let me talk to you, because I can honestly say that when I realized that I was actually wealthy was when I realized I had lost millions of dollars. Like I literally have lost millions of dollars.
Right.
I've had $1 million in cash, and then 8 months later I owe $1 million and don't have any of the cash. Like literally, that's when I realized, like, okay, this is what it is, and that's why I'm wealthy, because it's not necessarily about how much money you have. It's about the skills that you learn along the way that you can get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not a lottery winner. I can get it back.
Right.
But let's talk about that loss. Like that is very painful and hard to come back from. You know what I mean? For most people.
Right. It's how you view pain. Like most successful people view pain as a blessing. They go towards the pain. They understand that inside the pain is the lesson. There is no gain. What they say, no pain, no gain?
Yeah.
Like that's part of it. It's what you're searching for. It's what you're looking for. Because what the pain does with anybody, if you're having the pain, what's the first thing you want? You
want the pain to stop.
You want the pain to stop.
Right.
And what is that called? I'm gonna give you the word what that's called. It's called a solution. But you have come up for everything, every progressive thing that you see in life, from the internet to airplanes to cars, is a solution to a pain.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And if you live your life as such, most people can't.
Yeah.
They can't deal with the pain. They can't deal with the fact that you are now presented with a golden opportunity, a super opportunity to figure this out, to come up with a solution that only you understand. People don't have your particular, everybody has pain, some form of it.
Yeah.
But your pain is your path. And so while you're going through this pain process, you're learning something. You're creating a process that nobody else knows. And you can monetize that. And that's why someone that has $1 billion.
What you mean you can monetize that? Like,
is that now I know a solution. I can tell you, if this thing happens, if XYZ happens, you can do this.
I actually think too, it's just straight up content. Like for the world that we live in, what's so funny is people love hearing about your losses. Like, I swear, I just said I lost millions. Most people are going to be like, how'd you lose millions?
Right.
Well, outsourcing my coaching,
Right.
Passing up on deals that I should have taken, being overly emotional and hiring people that I shouldn't have hired. You know what I mean? Hiring people based on their personality.
And now you have a $1 billion hire practice.
Yeah.
Now you have a $1 billion coaching program, all about from learning those from the pain created by doing what you did, and then the process of this.
Yeah, but most people don't talk to you about their losses.
No.
Like we live in this world where everybody's talking to you about their successes and they're showing you all the highlight reels. So you rarely actually hear about the loss. And they're really explaining what happened in that loss so that you could actually gather something from it. And so like when we hear about, Elon Musk, he's lost the most money. Well, now let's take it to people that are afraid and they haven't even lost any money.
Right.
I'll have people, let me give you an example. I have people come into my coaching program and they'll tell me they want $1 million.
Right.
Okay. And you say you want $1 million. I can figure out how you could get 10 lines of credit for $100,000 each and get you $1 million through 10 different lenders.
Right.
And now you got $1 million cash and you can go and build the business that you want. And as soon as you put that in front of them, they're afraid to sign their name.
Right. Right.
Why? Because they're afraid to lose. So how are you ever going to win if you're not afraid to lose?
And let's go back to your first point, because that's a great point.
Yeah.
The first point is, why don't successful people tell you about their losses?
Yeah.
Because it's their losses. They'll tell you that they lost. You have to lose yourself. Losing is an experience that only you can have. Yeah. That's once they've lost, they know something.
Yeah.
It's different.
I'm gonna say it's even two parts to it. You can't be a winner and focus on your losses.
Right.
So half the time people are asking me that, I don't even remember. You actually have to have amnesia to that. You can't just walk around remembering, oh, I lost $5 million. Oh, I lost 10 million. Like, then you're never gonna make money because you're too focused on the past. So you don't even remember. It's like,
but your losses are your losses
are personal.
That's your path. And they know. I can't tell you to do what I did.
Yeah.
I couldn't even, if you go back and think of how you got to certain places,
Yeah.
you can tell somebody to do that.
Right.
There's nothing in that. I can't tell you to do this, call this person, do this. You don't even have the
Right.
things that I have.
Yeah, and it's in a time-space reality too that people don't actually realize.
And
so
it's
even if I tell you call this lender, it was from 10 years ago. They
And
don't exist.
And
it's
you
different,
did some
blah, blah,
things
blah.
that only you
can do.
Right. In your experience.
Right. In my credit
But
score,
what you
in my
can
life,
tell
in my
people is
business.
that
Yeah.
there's going to be losses. What they will tell you is that
You're gonna lose. You're gonna fall down.
You're gonna fall down.
Yeah.
You're gonna fall down.
Yeah. Because it's about resiliency. You have to be able to get back up.
The number one way to win
is to lose.
And the number two way to compound on that is be resilient.
Yeah.
Resiliency is like, if you have that trait, if you have resiliency, you can't lose.
That's true. I think that's probably the biggest winning trait of any winner. You know what I mean? That they don't focus on their losses. They can get over them really quickly. You hear a story Oprah was telling about the school that she had in South Africa, and that there was this allegation of molestation or abuse or whatever. I don't actually remember what it was, but it was something where the girls were getting abused, and she cried about it. And she was like, I got on a plane and I just worked it out. And I just immediately, I cried about it, had the moment where I felt bad, like, why me and why this and da-da-da-da. And she got right back at it. And now you can literally see why Oprah's a billionaire.
Right.
You know what I mean? How quickly she was able to get over that, where I have people that lost money on a flip 10 years ago still whining to me about that in 2024. And you know what I mean?
Right. And not counting all the things that they learned.
Right.
Like,
and how much stronger they are.
Like the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. They're not counting the things that you now know to do different.
Yeah.
Before, you're not the same person. You don't have the same experiences. There's so much in losses and pain that people just don't.
Yeah. So do you think that you can go and do something and not lose a lot? No. Or do you have to, in order to win big, you have to lose big? I mean, in order to make $1 billion, do you have to actually lose $1 billion?
I think so.
You do?
I think you cannot do any great.
You don't think you can earn $1 billion without also losing $1 billion? Right.
No, I don't think you can gain $1 billion.
Why is that?
Without losing $1 billion.
Why can't you just lose like 20 million?
Because
100 million. I mean, $1 billion is a lot of money. That's 1,000 million. Like,
but the thing
good
is,
God Almighty, that's a lot of.
You don't lose
money.
$1 billion at a time. Like,
that's true.
You don't miss all your shots. You miss some, you make some. You miss some, you make some. That's $1 billion over time.
Yeah.
You lost 20, and you'll be surprised at how much money you gain, how much money you have, how much money you lose. Like, people go back and look at how much money they spend. I remember doing when I first started, getting into music, and I'm not counting the studio. I only count videos. I'm not counting
all the studio,
the models, the clothes, the transportation, feeding them, going to lunch, taking the crew to lunch when you shoot a video. All these things that you like, how much money you spent, you don't count. Same thing with your losses. He didn't feel that $1 billion loss like that. It wasn't a $1 billion punch.
Yeah.
He went back and looked over.
Yeah.
Like 10 million.
Let's talk about that one. You actually made a point that I like to talk about, because as your manager, as the president of a music label, artists have a really hard time realizing how much money they're losing. Like, for some reason, it just doesn't resonate with them. All of the money they're spending, like, you literally give somebody an advance. I've had artists, different rappers, and I see like different ones, Erica Banks and stuff like that. Like, the label didn't pay me. You're like, you know how much money I looked at the numbers, how much money they spent on you.
And that's the thing.
And then so they start making money, and then they don't realize they owe all this money, because they did spend all that money. They really did. All those hotels, all that transportation, the gas, the food, the hair, the makeup, the nails, bruh, you spent a lot of money.
That's another thing. And they're not looking at it as losses, so they're not learning from it.
So they're not realizing they're in the red, like they're in a loop. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you started, and I started spending all this money on you. I remember we had this other artist, Carolina, who was on there with Lou. We'll show a clip of the video. She was not realizing how much money was being spent. What do you think those outfits cost? What do you think these things cost? So a lot of times as an artist, you start in the negative because someone invested money into what you're doing. And so then you have to start making money, and now you're not profitable. Your making money. You have revenue, but not profits. So,
right. Because
so they never even get to the profits.
Artists are disconnected from that. Like that's not being an entrepreneur. Like that's just being an artist, and that's a disconnect between artists, between making music and being an entrepreneur. You don't see yourself as a business, so you don't count that in a way.
How could you not? Like, you thought all those people showed up for free to do your makeup, your hair, your nails, the videographer, the choreographer. Like, you just thought all that was free?
No, that's just a different mind state of an artist, and that's part of their growth.
And then they want to sign you or you to invest in them, but they also don't want to recoup. You know, when you say the word recoup, oh my gosh, it'll send a lot of artists into a hissy fit when you tell them, okay, we're going to recoup these monies that we're spending on you. Now, I got to pay this money back. You're like, yeah, just like everybody got to pay the money back. Like, you go to the bank. I just gave the example. I give you 10 lines of credit, 100,000. Yeah, they all have a payment.
Right. And that's the thing, is that's what people don't, it all has a payment. All has a payment. It's a different thing and trying to connect with artists on that level of being an entrepreneur and functioning as a business is difficult. It's difficult as you have to go through those lessons and take those losses and then learn that, man, if someone is giving you an advance, what the word advance, I mean, there's so many words that's used in the music business.
Advance is a word why is that such a hard concept for people to understand? It's an advance. I remember when I used to work, I used to sell cars, and you worked on a commission, okay?
Right.
And so they would give you what we called a draw, where they would give you money, and then when you sold the car and got commission, you owed back the draw. Very similar to an advance. What's so hard to understand about that concept?
Because it's the entertainment business. Something different. It's the way that is viewed by artists. Like the word advance, they're not thinking of what advance means. That means before something.
Yes.
They don't even use, like, you're saying the advance.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the word advance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, that's before something. Like, I gave you something before you give me something back.
Right.
Recoup. That means I paid for something and you just give me that money back.
Right. I have to recoup that money.
I recouped a payment for something.
Right.
Like, I'm going to pay for something this way. And that's why. And in this time, and
you hear a lot of it. Like, let's really go there for a second. So you heard the Color Purple movie was coming out, and Taraji P. Henson goes on all of these different things, and she's crying about not being paid enough money, and et cetera, et cetera. And what's crazy is there was a time, maybe 10 years ago, I would have felt Taraji P. Henson. But now, in my millionaire executive producer, you know, me being the person that I am now, it didn't resonate with me at all, because I know how much goes into making money before the money comes in. Like, you know how much money you have to spend to make something and then sell it? Like, they paid Taraji P. Henson before the movie comes out. She's always paid before they get the money.
And the thing about it is,
so what do you get what I'm saying? Does everybody resonate with that concept? That
no.
Why don't they?
The answer is no.
Let's talk about it in the chat, though. Why don't you understand that in order to make a movie, everything has to be paid for before we go to the movie and buy a ticket?
Because that's the thing. That's why you have to lose $1 billion to make $1 billion. You understand? You have to lose $1 billion to make $1 billion. You don't understand that. You've never made a movie. All you know is I see a big screen, so money should be coming in. Why she's not paid? They don't know about any of that. That's why
they don't understand risk.
No,
I think that's the problem. People don't understand risk. Like Elon Musk, or let's go Oprah, using the same what I'm talking about. Oprah spends all that money to remake The Color Purple.
Right.
And who cares if she's a billionaire? Because that's a foolish argument to me. Like, she's a billionaire, she should pay people money. No, she's an entrepreneur. She's making a movie. So she has to make investments to make the movie, then put the movie out, then it starts selling. So she spent millions of dollars making a movie. What if no one came to the movie? Is anybody giving her money? Well, she took all the risk.
That's also another thing about artists that's out of that. There's a contract. Like, You signed a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like 𝗓𝗏 signed a contract.
She did.
They said, we're going to pay this amount of money.
Right, no matter what.
And
She's got paid. She gets paid. That movie could have flopped.
But
Nobody go see it. She's been paid. She's on her merry way.
But before they hired her, like when they hired her, she signed a contract. They said, we're going to pay you this amount of money.
Right, and she said, okay.
She said, okay.
Right, so she was upset even about Empire. Like, okay, Empire is making a bunch of money, and I should have made way more money off of that. What are you talking about? What if the show flopped? There's tons of shows that people spent millions of dollars making, and they never ever make any money. They never make any profit. They spent $1 million. They take it to the movie theater. Maybe they made $250,000. They lost $750,000. That happens every single day. No one's crying for these millionaires and billionaires that invested and lost the money.
Exactly. That's why they don't talk about their losses. And that's why they're millionaires and billionaires. It's that no one cares about your losses. It's your wins that matter. And when you win, everybody wants a part of it.
You're not going to make a lot of money, though, without taking a risk. So people want to get signed to a label. Well, the label is taking all of the risk. That's how they gave you the money, the advance, and this, that, and the other. They took the risk. That's why they make most of the money. But then you have the other side. You could be independent. You could be an independent filmmaker. You can be an independent rapper. You can be an independent singer. And you can stay independent, and you take all the risk. You spend all your own money.
And then what's going to happen? You're going to get there. You know why?
Why? Well, most of them don't, because they don't. If they actually do it.
If they actually do it, they will. You know why?
You think all independent artists make it?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
No.
If you're truly independent, if you're putting your money behind it, I do not think if you can feel the pain, that's the thing is, it only matters if you can, what is the title of this? If you can lose $1 billion, and I don't even mean lose $1 billion. Can you feel the pain of losing $1 billion?
Right.
When you feel that pain, that's what drives you.
Okay, so let's go back. Because what you said is, I like all independent artists. I think they'll make it. What are you talking? Most actual big artists that we're seeing, the Taylor Swifts, the Beyoncés, the Drakes, the blah, 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 they are signed to a label because they actually have a system for people to work in. Just like people that go to a job. You go to Wells Fargo, you go to Bank of America, you go work at Costco. They have a business for you. They have a role for you. They pay you. Whether the company makes money or not, you get paid. And that's what people are used to.
Okay, so to answer your first question. Those are artists that make billions of dollars for companies. Like, how much money does Taylor Swift make?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We actually don't
know.
But
we do know she makes a lot of money for Universal.
Yes, she does.
We do know that Universal, and then Universal pays her.
Yeah.
An independent artist, let me talk to you right quick. Because the point of what you're saying is that money comes to you. So it depends on success. So say you have 1,000 true fans, and you invested the money in it. That money comes directly to you. How much money do you make personally? Now that's two different paths. Now that's the thing. Like 𝗓𝗏, she can go out with the connection she got and make her own movies.
That's true.
Feel her own pain.
That's true.
Make her own Color Purple.
That's true. Put her own money up.
Put her own money up.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation. That's
a
different way of doing things.
Yeah.
And that's an independent artist.
That's an entrepreneur mindset.
Right. That's what I'm saying. An independent artist is an entrepreneur. That's a different mindset than a superstar. It takes a lot of money to get you into that Vera Wang dress and the limo that you call. That's all that you have to repay to get you back, and to fly you around, that flies you to different venues and this right here.
And they charge you for all of it.
Every single thing. But when it's you and you're doing it, you're learning, when you're feeling that pain, when you're like, I've been there. When you thought it was going to do this right here and you lost all that money and all the people it's a different feeling. You learn different. You learn more. Are you willing? It's two different things, because you can get to a certain point and then someone's going to come along and say, hey, man, I'll sign you. If you get famous enough, we done had deals on our table, but they'll come and they'll sign you. Yeah. But then they taking 70. We know the deal.
Absolutely.
Our biggest selling song, they done took 70% of that, and they get to pay you when
they get to it.
Right. They promote you big though. They get you on all these playlists and all that. That's a different type of pain. It's a different type of pain when you're super famous or your song is doing all this and It's no different than if I did it myself.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the biggest problem with people, and that drives me crazy, is their aversion to risk. Everybody wants to make millions of dollars. They want to be billionaire, but they don't want to take no risk.
No, because nobody wants any pain.
Because they don't want to lose.
Nobody wants any pain.
But you got to be able to lose $1 billion.
Nobody.
Can you lose $1 billion?
No one wants any pain.
That's the question.
Right. Can you lose $1 billion?
Can you lose $1 billion?
You can make $1 billion.
Right. So thank you for watching. This is the Noel and Diggs podcast. We thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel and make sure you click that little notification bell so you don't miss any of this great conversation that we have going for you. Comment below. We'd love to keep this conversation going.
Later.
Did you know that 2/3 of students who cannot read proficiently by the end of 4th grade will end up in jail or on welfare? The 𝗲𝗏 Foundation believes it's time to change this narrative. Education is the key, and literacy is the doorway to a brighter future. Hi, I'm Noel Randall, real estate millionaire, entrepreneur, mentor, speaker, YouTube star, mom of 7, and so much more. And literacy has literally transformed my life. And together, we're on a mission to transform the lives of children everywhere. In the United States alone, 58% of 4th grade students do not read at a proficient level, but we can rewrite this story. For just $50, you can be a hero in a child's story. Donate today and receive our exclusive This Shirt Buys Books t-shirt and both 𝗲𝗏 books to give to a child. It's not just a shirt, it's a lifeline to literacy. And the numbers show it. Every dollar donated has a direct impact on improving literacy rates. Studies prove that children who read at grade level by the end of the 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to graduate from high school. Join us on this vital mission. Your $50 donation helps provide books, resources, and literacy programs for children who need it most. Let's rewrite the story for these children. Donate $50, wear the shirt, give the books away as a gift, and be a champion for literacy. The 𝗲𝗏 Foundation, transforming lives, one book at a time. Donate now.